Chancellor Mr. Robert Bermudez, Vice Chancellor Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, Pro Vice Chancellor and Campus Principal Professor Brian Copeland, honorary graduates, university executives and other members of staff, and fellow graduates of the class of 2021. Our journey to this day has been uniquely unconventional in every sense of the word. Life is seldom predictable, but it would be a gross understatement to say that 2020 presented us with an unprecedented challenge. Despite all the research and development which have occurred in science and technology, the notion of a pandemic of this proportion in 2021 continues to baffle me. It is often difficult to consider how rapidly and drastically our lives were forced to change in March of 2020, when this invisible pathogen was recorded to have breached our borders. I remember studying in my apartment on Friday, March 13, 2020, for a statistics exam later that day, when news broke that schools and universities would be closed for 1 week following the country's first recorded case of COVID-19. Already having enough work to keep me busy during a week without teaching, I quickly had to forget about the last-minute exam preparation and pack my things to head south. Later that evening, many of us math students wrote that exam in the C1 classroom, completely unaware of what the next week would look like. That was my last memory on this campus. The following week would mark the genesis of our reimagined concept of normalcy. Within a period of 1 week, we transitioned to a mode of learning with which, for the most part, we were unfamiliar. What was the C3 lecture room and FST 114 abruptly transformed into a virtual classroom limited to a shared screen, chat box, and a raised hand feature for questions. Make no mistake, this was no easy undertaking. The loss of human connection eventually began to take its toll on us. Knowledge was not retained in the typical way. Exams were written on paper while reading questions on a computer monitor, all while clinging on to the last glimmer of hope that our Wi-Fi and electricity would hold out for the duration of the exam. Somehow we endured and made it to this day. To the class of 2021, I will forever be in awe of the resilience and adaptability you demonstrated and the personal sacrifices you made during this extraordinary period in our lives. I continue to be amazed and inspired by all students at all levels of our education system who are still in this fight today, pressing forward despite the challenges of virtual learning. We are part of a generation asked to dispose with the business-as-usual approaches and reinvent the shape of the box. As we bid farewell to this chapter in our life's novel, we cannot help but ponder on the road ahead. No class of graduates ever enters a perfect world, yet it is safe to say that we are moving into a truly remarkable period of human existence filled with its own distinct problems. We are still dealing with a deadly pandemic, with new variants and inequality in global vaccine distribution as well as vaccine hesitancy. Even worse, we are plagued by the crises of yesterday, the adverse effects of climate change, inequality, food insecurity, and underemployment. These problems require radical responses and an exceptional class of persons ready and willing to challenge the status quo on previous attempts at solutions. The world needs persons like the environmental scientists among us who will be resolute in expanding our investment in renewable and alternative sources of energy. Graduates, the unfortunate reality is that our generation does not have the privilege of a choice when it comes to such problems. The deadline to act has come and gone, and we are living through the effects of inaction right now. As graduates of the Faculty of Science and Technology and Food and Agriculture, it is our work that will be necessary to guide this process. Policymakers rely on us for sound scientific data and expertise that will inform their judgment. It is imperative that we remember to abide by all the scientific principles and professional codes of conduct which we have been taught. This introspection begs the question, are we ready to take our place as the catalysts for change necessary to deal with these inevitable global struggles? These are not ordinary circumstances, and it is fortunate that we are no ordinary graduates. While the chemists among us may disagree, I believe that the carbon atoms from which we are made are more strongly bonded than in any group of graduates who have come and gone before us. We are not made of the same material as others. We have been tested, pushed to the breaking point, and the limit of our potential was sought. The mathematicians among us know there is no greater proof than this past year and a half to know that that limit does not exist. We are uniquely prepared and positioned to confront the problems of tomorrow. We may have reached our individual finish lines, but this race certainly was not a solitary one. To our lecturers, demonstrators, TAs, lab supervisors, and university staff, we extend our eternal gratitude for your tireless work and unseen labors during our courses of study. To the parents, siblings, families, neighbors, friends, and well-wishers who held our hands during this period and provided emotional, financial, and academic support to us, your efforts have not gone unnoticed, and we will forever be in your debt. So as we, the class of 2021, prepare to embark on the next phase of our lives, let us take this well-deserved moment to bask in the excellence of our hard work. I urge you to embrace all the adventures of life. Take risks, pursue your dreams, and above all, learn from your mistakes. When faced with adversity, remember that your experiences have made you stronger and ready to weather any storm. When we depart this place, let history record that we lived up to and exceeded the expectations of our children and grandchildren in this moment. I wish us all the success life has to offer. I cannot wait to see what the world looks like with us at the forefront. Congratulations to the class of 2021. Thank you.